Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Halifax 57 Rescue Show. And we'll continue on sharing all these adventures with you into the foreseeable future. And Scott, welcome aboard again. And I love that flag back there, man. She's a beauty. And I just wanted to tell you that now that we're working on swapping out engine Hercules Halifax engine number 2 for number 3. If I take my hat off, you're going to see that I am getting balder because we are working out all the British electrics and magnetos and ignition circuits for the Hercules engine.
Oh, good luck with that.
If you think I am mentally stable after this many days of working on that, you got another thing coming. Hi, everybody. Karl Casgard reporting to you from the Bomber Command Museum of Canada in Nanton, Alberta. And we're getting to become known for the headquarters of Bristol Hercules engines. We're doing our best to get number 3 engine there up on the yellow trailer and get it running in the weeks ahead. But pay attention now. Professor Crashguard is going to show you about magnetos for that engine, and it's right over here. So Hugh is our main man. Let me explain the problem. These magnets from the 2 magnetos of the Bristol Hercules have no magnetism left in them after almost 60 years. So Hugh has copied our original magnetos. These came off that engine number 3 over there. And this is inside the magneto, and I'm going to show you. Pay attention. Okay, now look at the bright light down there. Do you see the points for the magneto? See how they're open? And we have rewired it. We're converting these magnetos to distributors, and that's internal wiring. Hugh has masterminded all of that, but I want to show you this over here. I have put the rotor of the magneto at the number 4 top dead center cylinder, and look at those 2 white dots there on the magneto gear drive. You see how they line up? Everything is set perfectly by the factory, and so that is the magneto on the left has been rewired, and we're going to put it back in. And here's the completed right magneto that Hugh has rebuilt, and so we're going to put those back on, and that will happen in the coming weeks. And we've timed the engine, so let's go over here. I got to keep it down to about 5 minutes. So here's what we did. We have the beautiful Bristol timing tool installed on number 4 cylinder of the Hercules, and you see that indice, it's set. The piston comes up and it pushes that rod up to the exact timing position of 14 degrees before top dead center. Then we took the magnetos out of the engine, knowing that the magnetos were toasted, and the magneto goes in there. And over here, we took the right-hand magneto out, and we've rebuilt them. So we're going to put them back in. Now, you see that giant ring there? That is a motor mount ring for a Hastings transport, and it does not fit over there onto the Bristol freighter motor mounts, different angle motor mount flanges. So we're going to change those. But guess what you got to do? Bless you, Bristol. We had to take the carburetor off from there, and it's sitting over there. That's the carburetor for the engine. Then we had to take the oil sump tank off the bottom of the engine so that when we're ready, we take this ring off and put a Bristol freighter ring on. So there you go. This is what we're doing. I am a guy that used to have lots of hair, but now I'm getting bald. And I'm just saying bald came from Bristol, and we're having fun. It's all for the bomber boys, and especially in Canada, because we flew the Halifax to glory in Bomber Command with the Bristol Hercules engines. So that's it for my quickie report. Captain Crashguard signing off, and we'll give you more in the days ahead. Now tell me about you and all your wonderful harebrained guys over there.
Well, while you're trying to sort out the electrical spaghetti, we're carrying on with the stringers for the trailing edge. It's very tricky. There's a lot of tight corners and not a lot of room to work. So it's slow going. It's what's the right word?
Tedious.
Tedious, yeah, and it's cramped, but it's good because I kind of do my daily yoga, bending and contorting myself into these odd shapes. But we're making progress. It's slow, but it's we're making good progress.
Well, that's good. So what you're saying is some swords of freedom are made out of aluminium.
That's right. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Okay,
So you like the
good.
flag, right? What part do you like? The British part or the Canadian part?
Well, okay, I'm a lumberjack. I've been a farmer, so I'll take the Canadian maple leaf, okay?
I like them both. But yeah, my I guess my heart is with the Canadian one. But strong feelings for the British part.
That's right. That's right. So, okay. So we're on to this history, the Royal Canadian Air Force, Bomber Command. Why the heck? I wish I could swear on TV. Why the heck would we do all this for our bomber boys? And one of the best proponents of saving history and a fan of the Halifax Project is one of the best leaders in the Royal Canadian Air Force, Lieutenant General Mike Hood. And here's what we heard from him when he was in power about the saving history and the Halifax Project. We'll let the boss tell the story.
Experience seeing the work that you've done here today with our great Swedish friends. I followed vicariously through your website updates and the great work that you're doing here, and just the opportunity to touch something that's been underwater since 1943. A iconic piece of Royal Canadian Air Force history is actually quite touching. It's amazing. It was worth every minute of the travel and drive to get here to see you, and great day for the Royal Canadian Air Force. I was in Trenton in the early days when we brought the pieces back from Norway of that beautiful, magnificent aircraft that's now the centerpiece of the National Museum of the Canadian Air Force. And I've seen other pieces of memorabilia. And in fact, if you were to look at my desk right now, one of those ingots that you gave me from the 426 recovery in Belgium is sitting there. So I don't think any piece is too small or too large. Of course, it'd be great to get something that we could get into the back of shape of Halifax, the Halifax and Trenton is. But I think every little bit helps tell the story of an awful lot of young men who went in the service of their country and didn't come back. 26,000 odd in bomber group. So now to the second part of your question, I mean, history is really important to the Royal Canadian Air Force. I come into the job as commander, and the official history of the Royal Canadian Air Force, Volume 3, ends in 1945. So I've made it a priority of my time in command to, start to set the record straight. We were born out of war with a wonderful pedigree and great history, and I think that there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from that to inform the Royal Canadian Air Force moving forward. It's not about melancholy looking back to what was, although that's an important part of recognizing our history. But it's about moving forward with this great institution, the Royal Canadian Air Force. And I think the work that you're doing is just an incredible cornerstone of what we need to be thinking about moving forward. It's this really important part of our nation's history. Is probably not as well known as it should be across the country. I take a lot of enthusiasm out of the fact that the museum in Trenton, for example, is now the largest tourist attraction really between Kingston and Toronto, and that there were over 50,000 primarily school children who go and get educated in the history of the RCF. I know Nanton shares a similar pedigree, as do a number of other great locations in Hamilton or around some of our wings. And I think it needs to be a tireless effort to keep those candles burning, because we've got to let Canadians know about this great part of their history that isn't well known enough. So I mean, that gives me the energy to continue. Well, we're here today as Commander of the Air Force. I'm going to graciously accept the kind donation from the Halifax 57 project of ingots from a 426 Halifax that was crashed. And these ingots represent a large part of our history in our Air Force. It represents an aircraft that most of the Canadians in Bomber Command would have flown, and it recognizes the sacrifice, commitment of all those young men those many years ago. It's my intent as we transition back to our old wings to use some of this metal from that 426 Halifax and put them in the new wings we're creating for the Royal Canadian Air Force. If you come here, Scott, you can see our previous wings were gold in nature, and we're going back to our roots and recreating them in silver. So all of our wings across the Air Force will be silver, and all of them will contain a certain amount of this great donation from you that I'm forever grateful for. Thank you.
And what do you think about the youth being here, about the young people? Do you think it's important for them to be out here?
Well, I think if you talk to most of the people with Air Force wings on their chests, will tell you that their love of flying began at an air show just like this one at some point in their life. So this is what we're here to do. We're here to inspire our youngest and imagine what their future could be amongst the clouds. They make great young citizens. We teach them a lot about aviation, and many go on to be fantastic pilots in the Royal Canadian Air Force. So keep studying, keep working hard, and we'll always have a place for you in one of our cockpits.
Well, there you go, folks, right from the boss of the Royal Canadian Air Force. He's a historian. He knows why he's saving history, just like we are doing. And now, on with the recovery of NA337 from 730 feet underwater in Lake Mjøsa. And Scott, guess what? The rear gunner of NA337 came over from England to be with us to see his bomber come out of the water after 50 years. And folks, you got to understand, Thomas Weightman, the lone survivor of the crew, all the other lads died of hypothermia after they got out of the bomber in the cold Norwegian water. But Bernie Auslid, 16 years old, saw Thomas Weightman out on the water. First thing in the morning, he rowed out with his rowboat, saved Thomas, brought him to shore. Thomas was almost a goner, and he took them they went quickly up to the local cabin right by the lake, and the vet hammers of that house warmed up Thomas and saved his life. And I got to retrace the steps with Thomas Weightman to see the vet hammers after 50 years. Boy, was that powerful.
It has been 50 years, but Karl took Thomas Weightman out onto Lake Mjøsa one more time. On that night in April 1945, Thomas had clung to the top of his emergency dinghy. Around him, 5 others slipped silently away, unable to survive the cold morning water temperatures. Nearly frozen, his cries for help were heard from shore. A young man rowed out to save Thomas Weightman, a Norwegian hero.
Well, it's a little warmer today than that day in 45, huh?
Much better, much better.
Yeah.
Much better day. Yes.
But you can see the barge out there.
Yeah, I can.
And that marks almost the exact spot of the aircraft.
Yes, yes.
But that day in 45, April 24, how long had you been out there? I mean, from till the time you were rescued.
Since about 1 o'clock, since 1:30 or 1 o'clock.
So six hours?
Yeah, yes, yes, it is there. Yes.
Okay, now I know the temperature was around 0, and there was a bit of a wind blowing,
Yeah, yeah.
and you had some of your clothes on, but your boots were missing.
And boots were missing and my socks as well. I took my socks off.
Huh?
Save my feet out if it is not for
Well, it's hard to say, but they're still here, so
yeah, that's,
there's the house up there.
yes.
Must have been a heck of a walk, huh? You hardly get your muscles going, and glad to be on land, but
It was, yeah.
talking to your legs and
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
"Come on, you can do it."
Yeah.
And when you got up there, did they give you any liquids? Any?
Oh, yes, well, they stopped us, first of all, for to get some dry clothes on me.
Yes.
And they gave me some, the civilian clothes,
Yeah.
like a pullover and trousers and
Yeah.
a pair of boots and whatnot. And then they gave me something to eat, yes.
Yeah. Did they give you some hot coffee or
Oh,
something?
yeah, a hot a meal or something.
Yes.
a hot,
Yeah. So it must have felt good going
oh,
down. Huh?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
With like a porridge.
Yes.
Sort of a porridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
But
yeah,
giving you
really
back
good.
some heat.
Yeah, yeah.
That's for
And-
sure, huh?
In front of the good big wood burning stove as well.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the feet and the hands out there.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
back to normal.
And of course the lady sort of was rubbing my feet and my legs.
Oh,
So-
good. Good.
So she got them going again.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Ah.
yes.
Yeah, though sometimes water looks nice, but sometimes it can be really hazardous.
Son, yes. I'll go in. Of course,
There's the side window.
we had change.
Yeah.
And they have what's these now? Hello. One night. Nice to see you again. All of that. I'm still here. You're still here. Nice to see you.
Hi,
Yes.
my name is Karl and Scott.
This is Karl. You're the Canadian.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
Here from Canada for the Halifax bomber.
Yeah, yes. They're going to lift it up. Thank you.
After 50 years, Thomas had returned to thank the ones who had saved his life. At the same time, something was happening on the lake, and it wasn't good. The whitecaps were appearing. The critical thing now was that time was running out. Karl would need to return to Canada to pilot one of Canadian Airlines' flights. The rest of the Canadians, including Jeff's wife Elaine, would have their tickets expire within a day. A decision would have to be made on who would stay and who would go.
Howdy. So,
Hello.
lots of wind, a little bit of waves.
Yeah. We're waiting for weather.
Yeah. Did they say?
We have the perfect position for the wire. Within position yesterday.
Yeah.
It was exactly where we wanted. It was a double frame.
Yeah.
Just by the body is ripped off,
Yeah. The back end of the fuselage. Yeah.
and the claw is went through the plating and around the double frame.
Around the frame. Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that will be a very good position to pull in the lifting device in.
Yeah. Tuck it under the wing. Yeah. So, but what I'm concerned with is this, how long for the wind? How many days?
What's your time? How many?
We need 12 hours with the good weather. Then we have should have it in shallow water.
In 12 hours.
So from the time you start, like say good weather comes, then you start, and all you need is 12 hours of good weather to get it to Jovica.
Yes.
Deg was concerned. You could see it in his eyes. But he wasn't giving up. He told us bad weather could never stop a Viking. That night, Jeff surprised Thomas Weightman with a special presentation.
Go ahead.
If there's one thing I don't like is sloppy gunners.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And occasionally I had a few, and you know, what the heck did you ever have in your cockpit? When you took off, what did you take with you?
Just a cup of a flask of coffee. That was all maybe.
That was all. You don't have any coffee tonight.
Oh, I'll get some later. I've got.
I think we got some here.
Coffee.
I think we got some here for you.
Oh. You found it?
What does it say on there?
I can't.
You can't read your name?
I can't. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good ride. I thought they'd been rusted away by now. In fact,
Was that bloody coffee you guys made?
have you tried it? Have you tried the coffee?
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare.
It might be still hot.
There you are. No, that's yours.
That's very brave.
And we talked to Dag Emerald from Dacon, and people are doing the survey. And we said, we're taking it. And he says, well, you should because it's yours.
Yeah.
Well, we're just about finished the show, folks. And Scott, thanks very much for giving us all the latest. And next week, we're going to have a special video on the Diefenbunker. And you guys got to figure out what that is. But it's going to be fun to go in this special landmark near Ottawa. And we're going to show you the recovery of NA337. And guess what? We got our #1 ROV submarine stuck, tangled up to the Halifax. So if you don't think there was any drama, you wait till you see we got to bring in a second ROV to save this Halifax for history and for Canada. So support us. We need your funding. We need your donations. You'll see the credits and where to go. And share, like, subscribe. We got to have your support. We're saving history, but we need your backing. So thanks again, folks, and we'll see you real soon.